Okay, so I'm gonna roll. I bet my starburst, and I just rolled a 4. What happens? That's my point. It's not a 7 or 11, so I don't win. Nor is it a 2, 3, or 12, so I don't lose. So I just roll a 4.
Roll it again.
Now what I have to do is I'm going to keep rolling until one of two things well, I can't crap out now. I get 7 out. If I roll a 7, I lose. But if I roll 4 again, I win. And I don't have to roll 4 the same way. I just rolled 4 the hard way, which is 2 and 2. I just have to roll 4. So let's do it again.
What if you get 11?
No, that 11 doesn't count. 11, you just ignore the roll and go again. I just rolled an 8. That was a great question, by the way. What if I roll an 11? On the point round, it doesn't matter. Thank you for that, whoever asked that.
7.
So I just rolled an 8, which means I keep going.
Rolling.
I keep rolling.
So you get a 4.
I just rolled a 9. That doesn't count. Essentially, if you roll anything other than a 4 or a 7, that roll didn't count for anything. 12 doesn't count for anything. Notice 12 would actually be a bad thing on the first roll. Doesn't mean anything right now. 10. 3.
4.
8. You can see why craps is fun. Because by now everybody's drunk and screaming. 6.
When does the betting come in?
The betting already happened.
happened.
I bet my
In
ante.
the kitty.
7. 7 out, I lose. Lose my ante. Okay, so that's a round right there. That was a very long round. Fair enough? Let's play again.
7.
9. That's a point, yeah?
Yeah.
9's a point, which means I gotta roll again. 8. 11.
9.
Now I feel like I'm a
9.
street craps player. 4. Where was that last round?
9.
7. 7 out. Lost that ante.
Okay.
Fair. You see what's going on? I'm actually glad that happened first because the point rounds are the hardest ones to understand.
It's kind of weird because there's more outcomes that if you win rather than...
We're going to come back to that. Yes, what Nick has just described is the brilliance of the game of craps.
Why do we keep rolling
there are,
sevens?
What? You know the answer to that. Why do we keep rolling 7s?
Because it's the most common.
Because it's the most common roll. We figured that out on Wednesday, yes? When we graph the distribution of die rolls, 7 is in the middle. So they're generous with you in the beginning by offering that as a win, yes?
Right.
But then they take that generosity away and make it a penalty once you're in the point round. Genius. Genius. Oh, it's genius. And there's so many ways to win that the game's like, oh my god, this is fantastic. But that's why we're going to analyze it today. Because like every other game in Vegas,
It's not fair.
on average, you lose, the house wins. And I want you guys to see why, because of what Nick just said. Nick just made the most awesome statement. It seems like there's so many ways to win, and there are. But so many ways doesn't necessarily mean to the more likely of the outcomes. We'll come back to that. But play first. Any questions? Does this kind of make sense? Micah, go.
Can you explain the ante?
Oh, the ante's just you're betting a starburst every time you start a round. So I would have lost 2 starbursts in those 2 rounds I just played.
The house would have taken it.
Not per roll, no sir.
No.
Mike, a very good question. It might be per roll if you keep rolling 7s, 11s, 2s, 3s, and 12s. Because then every round only lasts 1 roll. But on average, if you look at my example that I walked through here, each one of these is 1 round of my play. Sometimes I only roll one time because I either crapped out or 7-1. But then I have some of these rounds where I have to roll 10 times before the round ends. 1 bet per round. Fair? Other questions? You guys are ready to gamble? Go, gamble away. Shelly, you ready? You want to bet first or